Well, I'm tired of pedaling my Aggressor Pro with the aggressive tires on it on the road, so I've sort of been passively searching for a road bike. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money because I don't think it's something I'm gonna necessarily enjoy. So I found this HILAND. They're on Amazon for like $380 new. The reviews are so-so. But I found this one on Marketplace. It's obviously an open box, but it's in the box. It appears like everything's there. It's never been assembled, for 75 bucks locally. So I figured I'd grab it and give it a try. All right, so in the beat up box, there was a bike. It's like the frame's there, the cranks are there, bottom bracket, sprockets, cassette. I gotta cut that dork disc off because I can't stand the way it looks. The derailleur is bent to hell and broken. Cables broke off it. So I guess I'm gonna have to get a derailleur. The hanger is bent into the cassette. Looks like I just got the crap beat out of it in the box in shipment. Frame doesn't look awful. Fork's pretty scuffed. Surprised it has a tapered steering tube. That's kind of nice. Yeah, the frame doesn't look beat too bad. It's not great. 2 spots for bottle cages. All right, so after closer inspection, I'm missing the bolt with the keeper for the front brake cable. No big deal. The handlebar wrap is crap and coming off. That's all right. Got one coming from Amazon, not a big deal. Yeah, like I said, the derailleur is bent and broken. Not a crazy big deal. The pedals are mangled. I don't know how that even happens, but they're junk, so like I was gonna change them anyway. So I'm not offended that the pedals are bad. Yeah, I mean, pretty basic stuff. For $75, I think I did okay. I'm gonna put some air in this back wheel and put it in the bike stand so I can put the front wheel on it and get it together and see how it looks. So the front fork leg, I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, but it's bent out in the front that way. So I'm gonna take a crescent wrench, take the wheel out, take a crescent wrench, try to straighten that. I think it'll clamp tight with that axle, but I'm gonna try to straighten it with a crescent wrench. All right, first impressions of the bike. It's a pretty good looking bike. I'm gonna change the angle of that seat a little bit. It's my first road bike, so I don't know anything about it. It's supposed to be a medium frame. Seems small, but again, road bike, I don't know anything about it, so maybe it's not. Like I said, it's a good looking bike. I mean, the components are obviously cheap. It's a $389 Chinese Amazon bike, but had this not come from a pallet buyer from an Amazon return and it didn't have a bent fork or, missing some front brake hardware and things, the handlebar wrap unwrapped, the derailleur all screwed up and the cable broken, I mean, it really would have been, yeah, the pedals are bent too. But I put it together just so I can take it for a scoot, see how it does before I order some more parts. It's cool looking. All right, so the test ride in front of the house at 10 o'clock at night. The rear brake needs adjusted. It's dragging on this side of the rim. Same with the front, although the front's not even hooked up. I'm missing that hardware. The derailleur is obviously, I straightened it. It would shift if the cable end wasn't broke off. The front derailleur is a mess. It needs all adjusted, but I'm not gonna worry about adjusting it until I get a rear derailleur. I mean, all in all, like I said, it's pretty banged up, but I bought it from a pallet buyer. It's not like it came new. If this showed up from Amazon in this quality, I would be, sending it back, just like whoever bought it. probably got it in this condition and sent it back. But all in all, for 75 bucks, I think I got a pretty decent road bike. All right, since I'm missing the bolt, the front brake caliper, and the little keeper, there we go, focus. I went to the hardware store and got a chrome plated bolt, nut, an acorn nut. I drilled an 1/8 inch hole. I don't know why it won't focus. 1/8 inch hole in the bolt. I'm gonna thread the bolt in, use the first nut to pinch the cable, and the acorn nut to lock it in the brake so that it can't be wiggly in there, so that it doesn't eventually hog out that hole. All right, so my bolt's gonna work. It's not ideal. It's gonna work. I just gotta cut this off, the cable off, put an end on it. Just got back from a little test ride just in front of the house, couldn't go far. The brakes all function now, which is good. And if I could shift, that derailleur is so bent. So once I get that new derailleur, which is supposed to be in tomorrow, get that cable adjusted correctly, I think we'll have a pretty decent bike. I'm still gonna be under $100. All right, it's the next day, and my parts came in. Well, I guess it's 2 days. The Shimano 6 and 7 speed derailleur. Looks pretty self-explanatory. Definitely not as heavy duty, or definitely doesn't have the same amount of tension as the one on the Aggressor, but new bar wrap because this wrap's cracked up and was falling off. And pedals. Now I went with flat pedals because I don't have any interest in clipping my feet into a bike at this point. And I'm sure they're the same exact brand and just, made in the same factory, just a different Chinese company stamps their name in them as the ones that I put on the Aggressor that have over 400 miles on them, bouncing off rocks, and they're great pedals. So we're gonna give those a try on the road bike. All right, so I rewrapped the bars. Came out pretty good for the first time I ever wrapped a set of road bike bars. Looks nice, and those new pedals look great. I'll tell you what, these were cheaper than the pair that I bought for the Aggressor. They came with an Allen wrench, which I didn't need, but it came with it. Some lock washers, a little wrench for the studs, and the pedals, and it came with some extra studs. That's pretty cool for under 20 bucks. Now I'm gonna try to change this derailleur. So I thought I had an extra master link. I don't. So I'm gonna have to take the derailleur apart to get the chain off of it. I mean, I could break the old derailleur, it's already broken, but I'm gonna take them apart. All right, I just got home from work and Amazon dropped off some packages. I'm gonna guess bottle cages and some idler wheels or trolley wheels for that derailleur. Since I took that derailleur apart yesterday, I decided I'd change the trolley wheels to red just to class it up a little. Stopped at the local bike shop and got a master link. I actually bought 2 because they had a card minimum of 10 bucks. So such is life, it wouldn't hurt to have an extra laying around. All right, so these new trolley wheels off Amazon, Chinese high quality stuff, they do have bearings. They're a little smaller than the ones that came with the Shimano Tourney because these ones are the size of the stock derailleur. So I was afraid with these larger trolley wheels, now granted they're plastic and they should be changed anyway, but I was afraid that they're a little bigger and I was afraid I would run into chain issues At this point, I don't want to change the chain. All right, so I got the trolley wheels put in with the bearings. They roll a lot easier and they look cool as hell with the red. So we're gonna put that on real quick. I gotta break the chain first. All right, so bottle cages are on, derailleurs installed. Needs adjusted. I can't quite get 7th gear or 1st gear. So I only have 5 gears back there, but for now it's okay to take the first ride into town tonight. Front derailleur needs a little adjustment too, but for the most part, we have a rideable road bike. Okay, so now that I've put it together, had some time to tune the derailleurs and the shifters and ridden it. I did 15 miles this morning, total 25 miles on this bike in a couple days. It's really not a bad bike. The road bike is so much easier to ride on the road than these knobby mountain bike tires, which that bike didn't come with those. It's a lot easier to ride with the crappy tires, but in the woods it was trying to step out from under all the time. So anyway, the road bike's great. I really like it. I didn't know if I would. I really didn't think I would, but I really like it. Again, I think I wrapped the bars the wrong direction. I think I should have started at this end and wrapped this way, so that the like overlap went the other way, so that as you're pushing on the grip, you're not rolling it. But we'll see. As cheap as that bar wrap is, wouldn't be offended to do it again. The cheap bottle cages, cheap pedals, everything's great. The derailleur is this, it's just a Shimano 20. It still needs some tuning. I put red trolley wheels in it just to class it up a little, but all in all, and a lot of complaints online about this seat. And I'll say, as far as my butt, the seat's fine. As far as the, between my legs, not so great. But I think that your body gets used to something, so I'm just gonna keep pounding miles on it, see if it gets used to it. I mean, the mountain bike seat I've been riding had a ton of complaints as well, and I have no issue with it. So yeah, 25 miles in, the HILAND ALLIANCE 1.0 seems to be a pretty darn good bike.